Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going through the Canto 7, Chapter 9. Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. So Prahlad Maharaj was glorifying Lord Nrsingadev, and he described how Lord Nrsingadev is everything. He is the cause of everything, and he is the effect.
Prahlad Maharaj ji le Nrsinga Bhagwan ko स्तुति करते हुनुहुन्छ र भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ कि प्रत्येक कारणको कारण भगवान हुनुहुन्छ र सबै प्रति भगवानकै श्रेय छ.
So in the prayer tonight, Prahlad Maharaj is describing how all the different elements are also the Supreme Lord. Right? We have the gross elements first of all. We have earth and water and fire and air and ether. That is also the Supreme Lord. Then there's the sense objects like taste and sight and smell and touch and sound. That's also Krishna. And then there's the life airs within the body. There's life airs. This is also Krishna. Then we have the senses, the five senses, like the eyes, the tongue, the nose, the skin, and the ears. And then you have the subtle body, the mind, and the false ego and consciousness. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is telling Lord Nrsingadev, he said, you are everything, everything, gross and subtle. So whatever we talk about in this world, whatever we use our tongue to describe, it is actually nothing but the Supreme Lord. So all the material elements, everything is just simply the Supreme Lord. So of course we have to understand properly what Prahlad means when he says like this. There's a type of philosophy called pantheism, which is another form of atheism, where they say the world is God. Prahlad Maharaj understands the Supreme Lord is everywhere. He's in everything. But that doesn't mean that everything is God. Right? He's in everything, but it doesn't mean that everything is God. It's described in chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. We read about Krishna describing his Vibhuti Yoga. Krishna is describing how he's the sound and ether and his ability in man. Instead of rivers I am the Ganga, of beasts I am the lion. Of mountains I am Meru, of immovable things I am the Himalayas. And this is all Krishna's Vibhuti. Krishna goes on to describe many Vibhutis. Right, the 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. So Krishna gives a very detailed description of his Vibhutis. But then at the end of the chapter, Lord Krishna says, what need is there, O Arjuna, for all this knowledge? You don't need to know all this knowledge. Yad yad vibhuti matshasvam, yad yad vibhuti matshasvam. Krishna says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire creation. Yad yad vibhuti matshadvam srimadarchitameva va tattadivantik tattadvaitik tadasad bhava bhavita. Krishna is saying, the single fragment of myself, I support. And what is that fragment? That single fragment which pervades everything, that is the Super Soul.
भगवानबाट।
So that one super soul expands infinitely into unlimited forms, into everything.
र एउटो परम पुरुषले असंख्य अवतार हुन्छ, असंख्य सृष्टि भएको छ, अनगिनत।
But Krishna also expands himself through his Brahman potency.
र भगवान ब्रह्माण्डको शक्तिद्वारा आफै पनि विस्तार हुनुहुन्छ।
In Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, second chapter, it is described that the absolute truth is called Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
श्रीमद् भागवतमको प्रथम स्कन्धको अध्याय 2 मा बताइएको छ कि भगवानलाई तीन प्रकारले जान्न सकिन्छ, भगवान,
Paramatma and Bhagavan.
भगवान ईश्वर, भगवान, परमात्मा, त्यसरी तीन प्रकारले हामीले जानिन्छ।
In Srimad Bhagavatam, second chapter, very important chapter in the first canto. Many devotees, they will memorize all the slokas there in the second chapter.
भागवतमको प्रथम स्कन्धको द्वितीय अध्याय एकदम महत्त्वपूर्ण छ कि त्यसलाई भक्तहरू थुप्रैले एकदम कण्ठस्थ गरेका छन् त्यहाँका श्लोकहरूलाई।
Right? If you like to learn slokas, then the second chapter of the first canto is very good. There are many verses there to memorize. So Sutta Goswami describes the absolute truth. It says, Vadanti tat tadvam vidam tadvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Sutta Goswami said, learned transcendentalists describe this absolute truth as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
विद्वानहरू तिनीहरूले भगवानलाई तीन प्रकारले जान्दछन्, ब्रह्म, परमात्मा, भगवान। यी तीन विभाजनद्वारा उनीहरूले भगवानलाई जान्दछन्।
Prahlad Maharaj is talking to Lord Nrsingadev and he is describing how the Supreme Lord is everything.
प्रहलाद महाराजले नरसिंहदेवलाई भन्दै हुन्छ कि प्रत्येक चीजमा कसरी भगवान यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ, सबै चीजमा भगवान हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने कुरा बताउँदै हुनुहुन्छ।
Because Prahlad's a pure devotee, so he can see the Lord everything, in everything, everywhere.
र प्रहलाद महाराज भगवानका शुद्ध भक्त हुनुहुन्थ्यो र उहाँले हर चीज सबैमा भगवान देख्नुहुन्थ्यो र हर चीजमा भगवानलाई उहाँले दर्शन गर्नुहुन्थ्यो।
Right? His atheistic father was asking him, where is this God? Where is he? Is he in here? And Prahlad said, yes, he's there, Father.
उसका नास्तिक बाउले प्रहलाद महाराजलाई सोध्नुभयो कि तिम्रा भगवान कहाँ छन्? यहाँ छन्? तिम्रा भगवान कहाँ यहाँ छन् र हुनुहुन्छ? प्रहलाद महाराज उत्तर दिँदै भन्नुहुन्छ, त्यहाँ पनि हुनुहुन्छ मेरा भगवान।
So Prahlad Maharaj, he's Uttama Adhikari, he's the topmost devotee. He can see the Lord everywhere, in everything.
र प्रहलाद महाराज जी उत्तम अधिकारी हुनुहुन्छ र प्रहलाद महाराज जीले सबैतिर हर चीजमा भगवानलाई दर्शन गर्नुहुन्छ।
When they put him in the pit with all the poison snakes, Prahlad Maharaj saw the Lord in the heart of all these snakes.
र जब प्रहलाद महाराज जीलाई सर्पहरूको बीचमा लगेर हालिएको थियो र प्रहलाद महाराजले त्यतिखेर के देख्नुभयो त भन्दाखेरि प्रत्येक सर्पमा भगवान देख्नुभयो।
So in every situation, Prahlad Maharaj can simply see everything in relation to the Lord.
प्रत्येक परिस्थितिमा भगवानलाई देख्नुहुन्थ्यो प्रहलाद महाराजजीले, जुन चीजमा पनि।
But the Lord appears in different ways. We said there's the Brahman, there's the Paramatma, and there's Bhagavan.
र भगवान अलग-अलग रूपले अवतार लिनुहुन्थ्यो। यहाँनिर तीनवटा अवस्था बताएको छ, ब्रह्माण्ड, परमात्मा, भगवान।
So when Prahlad Maharaj says earth, water, fire, air, ether is all the Lord, he means this is all the Lord's energy. This is his Brahman.
र आकाश, वायु, अग्नि, जल, पृथ्वी जो पांच जी छन् ती सबै भगवान ब्रह्माण्ड हुन्, भगवानका शक्तिहरू प्रहलाद महाराज भन्नुहुन्छ।
There's the Lord, and then there's the potency of the Lord, and it's all absolute, it's all one, but there's a difference.
जति पनि चीजहरु छ त्यो सबै भगवानको हो र भगवान स्वयं त्यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ र भगवानको शक्ति हो।
So
भगवान त्यसमा हुनुहुन्छ र हुनुहुन्न पनि, एक साथमा हुनुहुन्छ पनि।
There's a Vedic statement which is very popular by the Mayavadis, headed by Shankaracharya, which says, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman.
शंकराचार्यले बताइएको एउटा श्लोक छ कि जो जति पनि चीज छ यहाँ संसारमा त्यो सब ब्रह्माण्ड भगवान।
So the Mayavadis, they don't accept that there can be energies. They say no, there's only one energy. They don't accept there can be many energies. And they don't accept that there can be the Supreme Lord.
उनीहरूले भगवानका अलग-अलग शक्तिलाई स्वीकार गर्दैनन्, यी एउटै शक्तिलाई मात्रै स्वीकार गर्छन्। उनीहरू सोच्छन् कि आफै पनि म भगवान हुन सक्छु भन्ने सोच्छन्।
The Mayavadis, they say the Lord and the living entities and the material world are all illusion.
यो भौतिक संसारमा भगवान र भगवान जीव सबै अज्ञान हो।
And they say Brahman Satyam Jagat Mithya, that the Brahman, only the Brahman is truth and everything else is false, illusion.
उनीहरूले भन्ने गर्छन् कि यहाँ सत्य चाहिँ परम ब्रह्म मात्र ब्रह्माण्ड मात्रै हुनुहुन्छ र जति पनि जीवहरू छ त्यो सबै मिथ्या, त्यो सबै झुटो भन्ने गर्दछन्।
So because of this kind of teaching of Shankaracharya, this is why atheism became everywhere spread. People became atheistic. They couldn't accept that there's God.
र यस प्रकारको शंकराचार्यको शिक्षाद्वारा यो संसारमा जति पनि नास्तिकहरू फैलेका छन् त्यहाँबाट फैलेका छन्।
And they simply became sinful because they said, you know, we're all illusion, so everything I do is illusion, so I can do anything I like, it's all illusion.
यहाँनिर सबै अज्ञानको उनीहरूले अज्ञान भनेर उनीहरूले सम्बोधित गर्दाखेरि अब म पनि अज्ञान, मैले गरेको पनि अज्ञान, त्यसो हुँदाखेरि मैले जे गर्ने त हुँदो रहेछ भन्ने धारणा हुन्छ सबै व्यक्तिप्रति।
So they're called Mayavadis because they say Maya is greater than God.
र उनीहरूलाई त्यही भएर मायावादी भनिन्छ, किनकि त भन्दाखेरि उनीहरू भगवानले बनाएको माया शक्तिलाई स्वीकार्छन्।
Because everyone is bewildered by Maya. So Maya must be the supreme power. So they put these people who have this philosophy, they're known as Mayavadis.
संसारमा जति पनि चीजहरु छ मायाद्वारा ढाकिएको छ अनि त्यही भएर उनीहरूले त्यो सोच्छन्, त्यसो हुँदाखेरि उनीहरूलाई मायावादी भनिन्छ।
So Shankaracharya propagated this teaching, and he did this under the order of the Supreme Lord.
र शंकराचार्यले यो शिक्षा यो प्रचार भगवानको आज्ञाद्वारा उहाँले प्रचार गर्नुभयो।
It is described in the Padma Purana. Mayavada asat shastram prachanam bodha muchate. Mayeva vihitan devi kalo brahmana murtina. This is a verse spoken by Lord Shiva to his wife Parvati or Durga, and he's telling her, in the Kali Yuga I take the form of a brahmana and I come and teach this Mayavadi philosophy.
पद्म पुराणमा बताइएको छ, शिवजीद्वारा पार्वतीलाई बताउनु भएको छ कि कलियुगमा म अवतार लिन्छु नास्तिकबाट र मैले मायावादी शास्त्र प्रचार गर्छु भन्दै।
Yeah, it's Mayavada Asat Shastra. This is not a real philosophy. It's Asat Shastra. It's an illusion. And it's described as Prachanam Bodham, means covered Buddhism. It is Buddhism in a disguised form. Right? The Buddhists, they teach, their philosophy is called voidism. So they say everything, everything is illusion. Just like Prabhupada, when we offer prayers to Prabhupada, we say Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini. So Nirvishesha, this is the Buddhism, and this is the Mayavadi, and Sunyavadi, this is the Voidism, the Buddhism. So what Mayavadi, the Nirvishesha, and the Buddhism, the Sunyavadi. So Srila Prabhupada personally gave us this mantra by which we can offer our respectful obeisances to him, that he is preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya to defeat this Mayavadi and this impersonal philosophy and Buddhist philosophy. So the Buddhists, their teaching, everything is void, nothing, zero. Their philosophy is zero. Everything is nothing. Nothing is real. They say, we are not real, the world is not real, and there's no God anywhere. Nothing is real. Everything is illusion. But Shankaracharya, he changed that philosophy a bit. He made everything is not zero, he said everything is Brahman. And he said instead everything is not zero, he said everything is one. And he spoke about the oneness of everything. That oneness is Brahman. So Shankaracharya, in this way, he brought back the Vedas and he got rid of the Buddhism. But later on, the Vaishnava Acharyas came, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya and Nimbarka Acharya, and they preached their philosophy. Right? Ramanuja, he taught this Vashishta Dvaita, and Shankaracharya, he taught Dvaita, and Nimbarka Acharya, he's also preaching Dvaita Advaita. Vashishta Dvaita. Vashishta Dvaita. Ramanuja Vashishta Dvaita.
निम्बकाचार्यले
Nimbakacharya Dvaita Dvaita.
द्वैतवाद अनि त्यहाँबाट
And Madhvacharya Dvaita.
माधवाचार्यले अद्वैतवाद त्यसरी प्रचार गर्नु
Madhvacharya Dvaita, not Advaita.
द्वैत मात्रै अद्वैत होइन द्वैत.
Right, and then later on Lord Chaitanya came and he brought all the sampradayas together with his teaching of Achintya Beda Beda Tattva.
जब चैतन्य महाप्रभु पछि गएर चैतन्य महाप्रभु फेरि यो धराधरतीमा प्रकट हुनुभयो र उहाँले यी सबै सम्प्रदायहरूलाई जोडेर लिएर आएर अचिन्त्य भेदाभेद तत्त्व भनेर प्रस्तुत गर्नु.
And Lord Chaitanya established the real message of the Vedas, right? The real message of the Vedas is to know Krishna.
चैतन्य महाप्रभुले स्थापित गर्नुभयो कि वेदको सार, यो वेदको सार के हो त भन्दाखेरि भगवान कृष्ण.
Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chaham. Krishna says in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that I am the author, I am the compiler of the Vedas. By all the Vedas I am to be known.
15 अध्यायको भगवत गीताको 15 अध्यायमा भगवानले भन्नुहुन्छ कि जति पनि वेद संकलन गर्ने म वेदबाट जानिने पनि म हुँ भन्नुहुन्छ.
So we have to understand that one who is a devotee of Krishna, he not only knows Bhagavan, he will also know Paramatma, he will also know Brahman.
र जो भगवानको भक्त हुन्छ उले भगवानलाई मात्रै नजानेर परमात्मा र ब्रह्मालाई पनि जान्दछ.
They're all different features of the one Supreme Lord.
भगवानका अलग-अलग रूपहरू हुन्छन्.
Just like in the Ishopanishad, they speak about the light, the effulgence coming from the Lord.
ईशोपनिषदमा बताइएको छ कि जो प्रकाश भगवानसितबाट आएको छ त्यसको बारेबाट चर्चा भएको छ.
Haranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham tadvan pushana pavarno satya dharmaya drishtate. The devotees praying to kindly remove this dazzling effulgence.
भक्तहरूले भगवानसँग प्रार्थना गर्छन् कि कृपया जति पनि यो भगवानलाई ढाकिएको जो किरण छ त्यसलाई हटाइदिनुहोस् भन्दै भगवानसँग प्रार्थना गर्छन्.
And the devotee prays, I want to see that form of yours. I want to see your form.
भक्तहरूले भगवानसँग प्रार्थना गर्छन् कि म तपाईको किरणलाई हैन तपाईको रूपलाई चाहिँ दर्शन गर्न चाहन्छु भनेर.
So the light is just the energy coming from the form of the Lord.
जो त्यहाँनिर जो उज्यालो आएको छ त्यो उज्यालो चाहिँ भगवानको रूपबाट आएको उज्यालो हो.
So the Lord has so many different energies, and these energies are all different aspects, features of the Brahman.
भगवानसँग जो उज्यालो आउँछ त्यो भगवानको शक्ति हो र भगवानसँग अलग-अलग रूपहरू हुन्छन्. ती अलग-अलग रूपहरूबाट जो
So if we simply only focus on the Brahman, that is not full realization of the absolute truth.
यदि हामीहरू ब्रह्माण्डको मात्रै चिन्तन गर्छौं भने त्यो भगवानलाई परम पुरुषलाई जान्ने सही तरिका होइन.
If one just simply knows the Brahman and he doesn't know the form of the Lord as Bhagavan, then his realization is not complete.
र यदि भगवान साक्षात्कार गर्ने हो भने उले यदि ब्रह्माण्डलाई मात्रै चिन्तन गर्यो भने उले भगवानलाई जान्न सक्दैन.
And it means that any time he can fall down into the material world again.
र त्यसो हुँदाखेरि यदि ब्रह्माण्डको मात्रै चिन्ता गर्ने व्यक्ति छ भने उ जतिखेर पनि यो भौतिक संसारमा फेरि गिर्न सक्छ.
There's a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, spoken by Lord Brahma. Arora kritshrena param tatantada patanti ado nedrita yasmadandraya. Lord Brahma is describing, because of his Vishuddha Buddhaya, because of his impure intelligence, he falls back into the material world.
चिन्तन गर्ने हुन्छन् तिनीहरूको जो अशुद्धताले गर्दाखेरि उनीहरू फेरि के हुनुपर्छ त भन्दाखेरि भगवानको साक्षात्कार गर्न पाउँदैनन् र फेरि भौतिक संसारमा फेरि गिर्नु पर्दछ.
So sometimes we see the big impersonalists, the big Mayavadi, they do a lot of austerity, they go to the mountains or they go in the jungle and they do a lot of austerity.
र हामीले यहाँनिर देख्न सकिन्छ धेरै धेरै निराकारवादीहरू मायावादीहरू एक्लै गएर जंगलमा गएर तपस्या गर्छन्, धेरै धेरै तपस्या गर्छन्.
And after all their austerity, then they come back and they take up some welfare activity.
जब तपस्या गरिसकेर उनीहरू के गर्छन् फेरि फर्केर आउँछन् शहरभित्र अनि त्यहाँबाट मनुष्यको कल्याणको लागि मनुष्यहरूको जो कार्य गर्न थाल्छन् समाज सेवा.
They may open a hospital or they may open a school or they may do some home for the children, orphans.
र उनीहरू फर्केर आएपछि उनीहरू कसैले हस्पिटल बनाउनेतिर लाग्छन्, कसैले अब स्कुल खोल्नेतिर लाग्छन्, कसैले अब जो अनाथ आश्रम खोल्छन्, त्यसरी कार्य गर्न थाल्छन्.
So this is not spiritual activity, this is welfare, material welfare activity.
यो आध्यात्मिक कार्यकलापहरू होइन, यो सबै भौतिक कार्यकलापहरू हो. सिर्फ मनुष्यको जो
Initially they had renounced everything, they'd gone away from the world, but then they come back and again take up some worldly activity.
सुरुमा त सब कुछ त्यागेर उनीहरू वहाँनिर तपस्या गर्न जान्छन्, फेरि तपस्या गरिसकेर फेरि आएर यहाँनिर यही समाज सेवामा लाग्छन्, फेरि समाज सेवामा जुट्छन्.
Because they don't know what are spiritual activities.
र उनीहरूलाई थाहा हुँदैन कि उनीहरू एकदम अनभिज्ञ हुन्छन् कि आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान के हो भनेर.
They don't know how to engage themselves in activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord.
र उनीहरूलाई थाहा हुँदैन कि परम पुरुष भगवानलाई कसरी सेवा गर्नुपर्छ भनेर त्यो कार्यकलापहरू उनीहरूलाई अनभिज्ञ हुन्छन्.
So this is why, because they're not engaged in devotional service, they take up activities on the material platform.
र उनीहरू जब आध्यात्मिक कार्यकलापहरू थाहा नहुँदाखेरि उनीहरूले फेरि के गर्छन् त भन्दाखेरि यो सामाजिक कार्यकलापहरूलाई अपनाएर उनीहरू फेरि सामाजिक सेवामा लाग्छन् आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान नहुँदाखेरि.
So sometimes people even think that Krishna is coming from the Brahman, that Krishna himself comes from the Brahman, and the Brahman is actually the supreme, superior to Krishna.
र उनीहरूले सोच्ने गर्दछन् भगवान कृष्ण पनि ती ब्रह्माण्डबाट आएको भनेर उनीहरूले ब्रह्माण्डलाई मात्रै पूजा गर्छन्.
But this is not supported from the Bhagavad Gita.
र यो प्रसङ्गलाई भगवत गीताले सहमत गर्दैन.
Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Amritasya vyasya shasvatasya dharmasya brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyasya shasvatasya dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya. This is the last verse of chapter 14.
महाराजले प्रस्तुत गर्दै जानुभएको छ कि भगवानले भगवत गीतामा 14 अध्यायमा कसरी बताउनु भएको छ भनेर 14 अध्यायको अन्तिम श्लोकलाई प्रस्तुत गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ.
Arjuna wanted to know what he needed to do to overcome the modes of nature. And Lord Krishna described, you have to do devotional service.
र अर्जुनलाई जानकारी हुन थियो कि कसरी चाहिँ यो भौतिक गुणबाट म पार हुनु भनेर सोध्नुहुन्थ्यो. तर भगवानले उत्तर दिँदै भन्नुहुन्छ कि भक्तिद्वारा मात्रै तिमी यो भौतिक गुणलाई पार गर्न सक्छौ भन्दै.
Krishna said, Mam chayo vaya bicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samatichaikam brahma bhuyaya kopate. Krishna described that one who engages in my devotional service, he comes to the level of Brahman. श्लोकमा बताउन चाहन्छ कि जसले चाहिँ भगवानको भक्तिमय सेवा गर्छ उनले यो भौतिक गुणलाई नागेर ब्रह्मलाई जान्न योग्य हुँदछ. And then Krishna goes on to describe what is that Brahman.
र भगवानले यहाँ चाहिँ अगाडि के बताउन चाहनुहुन्छ त्यो ब्रह्माण्ड के हो भनेर.
And Krishna said, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Krishna says that he is the basis of that Brahman.
र भगवान कृष्णले यहाँ बताउँदै हुनुहुन्छ कि त्यो ब्रह्माण्ड के हो त भन्दाखेरि त्यो ब्रह्माण्डको जो जो जमाएको हुन्छ त्यो स्रोत म हुँ भन्दै बताउनुहुन्छ. स्रोत जो ब्रह्माण्ड उत्पत्ति भएको मबाट हो भन्दै.
But these foolish people, they interpret, they say the Brahman is the basis of Krishna. And then the Brahman is described, the nature of the Brahman is described. And the Brahman is immortal, imperishable, eternal, and the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. So Brahman realization is actually the beginning, the first stage of self-realization. I think all of you devotees have already realized Brahman. Because the Brahman, understanding we're Brahman, means to understand we're not the body, that we're all spirit souls. In the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmano hi, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. He said, one who has realized their Brahman, he is Prasanatma, he becomes a joyful soul. So if somebody is not a joyful soul, it means they're in the bodily consciousness, they're not in Krishna consciousness. Devotees should always be joyful. They should be fully in Krishna consciousness. And that Krishna consciousness begins, first of all, by understanding we're not a body, and then we have to go on and understand who is the Supreme Brahman. We have to understand our relationship with Krishna, who is the Supreme Brahman. We are tiny parts of the Brahman, and he is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, we have to engage in devotional service. That Krishna is the Supreme Brahman was described by Arjuna. After Krishna spoke the 4 verses, the Chatur Shloki verses, which summarize the Bhagavad Gita, then Arjuna declared that Krishna is the Para Brahman.
चतुर्श्लोकी भगवत गीता त्यो भगवतलाई 30 श्लोकलाई प्रस्तुत गरिसकेर अर्जुनले भगवानलाई परम ब्रह्मन भनेर यहाँ सम्बोधित गर्नुभएको छ.
Right? Arjuna said, Param Brahm, Param Dham, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shasvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Majam Vibhu. Arjuna is praising Krishna, that you are the Supreme Brahman. So Arjuna he understands Krishna's position, that we are tiny parts of the Brahman and Krishna is the Supreme Brahman. And we're meant to engage in service for the pleasure of the Supreme Brahman. To give a simple example, just like our fingers are very valuable. But if one finger is cut off from the hand, then it is useless. It's not connected to the body anymore. It's useless. In the same way, the individual living entity is a part of the Supreme Brahman, and we're meant to engage in his service. So it's the duty of the devotee to engage in service, and the easiest service to do in the Kali Yuga is to chant the holy name. Krishna is everywhere, he's in everything, but we cannot see him. In 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, there Mata parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam sotram sutre manigana eva. There is no truth superior to me. Everything rests on me, just like the beads are strung on a thread. Just like devotees, we like to wear neck beads. We wear tulsi beads around our neck, kunti mala. But you don't see the thread, you only see the bead. So the same way, Krishna is everywhere in everything, but we don't see him. But if we do devotional service, then we can see him. If we want to see Krishna, he reveals himself to his pure devotees who serve him with love. And the best way to develop that love for Krishna is by chanting his holy name. And to prove this, Prabhupada quotes a verse. He quotes that verse where Krishna is saying that I am not in Vaikuntha and I'm not in the hearts of the yogis meditating on me, but I am wherever my devotees like Narad are chanting my holy name.
प्रमाण दिनको लागि भगवानले बताउनुहुन्छ कि नारद मुनिलाई न म वैकुण्ठमा बस्छु न म योगीको हृदयमा बस्छु म त जहाँ मेरा भक्तहरूले मेरो नाम गाएका हुन्छन् त्यहाँ अगाडि म पुगेको हुन्छु जस्तो प्रकारले नारद मुनिले भगवानको नाम जति गाउनु भएको हुन्छ त्यहाँ स्वयं भगवान हुनुहुन्छ.
So those intelligent people who have got purified brain, they will chant the holy name of Krishna.
बुद्धिमान व्यक्तिहरूले आफ्नो जो बुद्धिहरूलाई साफ गर्नको लागि भगवानको नाम जपद्वारा उहाँहरूले बुद्धिहरूलाई साफ गर्छ.
But those foolish people, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he said, I am never manifest to the foolish and the unintelligent. For them I am covered by my yoga maya.
भगवानले भगवत गीतामा फेरि बताउनुहुन्छ कि बेवकूफ व्यक्ति र अल्प बुद्धि व्यक्ति यस्ता व्यक्तिहरूको प्रति म कहिले पनि अदृश्य हुन्छु र तिनीहरूलाई योग मायाद्वारा उनीहरूलाई ढाक दिएको हुन्छ उनीहरूले मलाई कहीँ पनि देख्दैन त्यस्ता बेवकूफ अल्प बुद्धिहरूले मलाई कसरी पनि जान्न सक्दैनन् भन्नुहुन्छ.
So we see the foolish, the unintelligent, the impure intelligence, they have no qualification. They don't know about the glories of Lord Krishna.
बुद्धिहीन अनि बेवकूफ जो भ्रष्टाचार अनि त्यहाँबाट जो त्यस्ता व्यक्तिहरूले भगवानलाई जान्नको लागि असमर्थ हुन्छन् जो अशुद्ध व्यक्तिहरूले भगवानलाई जान्न सक्दैनन् र तिनीहरूलाई योग मायाले ढाकिएको हुन्छ.
So in this way Prahlad Maharaj is describing how Lord Krishna, how the Supreme Lord, Nrsingadev, how he's everywhere, in everything, and everything is a representation of him.
कसरी चाहिँ यो संसारमा हर चीजमा तपाई यहाँ प्रस्तुत गर्नुहुन्छ तपाई हर चीजमा कसरी तपाई विस्तार हुनुहुन्छ भन्ने कुरा प्रहलाद महाराजजीले स्तुति नरसिंहदेवसँग गर्नुहुन्छ बताउनुहुन्छ.
So we'll ask if there's any questions.
र तपाईहरुको केही प्रश्न छ कि भनेर यहाँ प्रस्ताव राख्छौं. कसैले केही प्रश्न छ? हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण अनम्युट गरेर सोध्दा हुन्छ ल.
हरे कृष्ण दण्डवत प्रणाम गुरु महाराज. दण्डवत प्रणाम प्रभुजी.
हरे कृष्ण भन्नुहोस् प्रभुजी पुछ्नुहोस्.
मेरो एउटा प्रश्न थियो अघि महाराजले जो विभूतिको बारेमा भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो नि के अरे जस्तो कि विभूति बताउँदाखेरि अब भगवानले यो पनि बताउनुहुन्छ कि म पाण्डवमा अर्जुन हुँ तर अर्जुन मोहग्रस्त भएका थिए मतलब अब त्यसमा कृष्ण कसरी हुने भयो यो कसरी बुझ्ने?
महाराज जी my Prabhu is questioned that Krishna is explained
विभूतिको बारेमा भन्दा अघि जो महाराजले बताउँदै हुनुहुन्थ्यो
Krishna is said that I am in Arjuna. So if he is Arjuna, why he is in an illusion?
Well, Krishna's everywhere, right? We said Krishna's everywhere, so he's in Arjuna. So he's in the heart of Arjuna, he's in the heart of all living entities. But he gives everyone different opportunities to reciprocate with him.
तर भगवान हर चीजमा हुनुहुन्छ हर चीजको हर व्यक्तिको हृदयमा विराजमान हुनुहुन्छ र यहाँनेरि हामीलाई त्यो सम्बन्ध के गर्नको लागि मिलेको त भन्दाखेरि भगवानसँग आदान प्रदान गर्नको लागि मिलेको.
The Lord wants Arjuna to take the part of the conditioned soul so that the Lord can speak the Bhagavad Gita.
र भगवानले अर्जुनलाई किन त्यो माध्यम बनाउनु भयो त भन्दाखेरि बाध्य अवस्थामा पुर्याएर उहाँलाई अज्ञानमा डालेर भगवत गीता प्रस्तुत गराउनको लागि भगवानले अर्जुनलाई त्यो स्थितिमा पुर्याइदिनु भयो.
Arjuna's not really in illusion, but Krishna is taking the opportunity to teach all of us by teaching Arjuna.
र अर्जुन वास्तवमा अज्ञानमा थिएनन्, तर भगवानले यो अवसर प्रदान गर्न चाहनुभयो कि सारा जीवलाई भगवत गीता सुन्ने अवसर प्राप्त होस् भनेर अर्जुनलाई अज्ञानमा डाले जस्तो गराएर अर्जुनलाई माध्यम बनाएर हामीहरूलाई प्रस्तुत गर्नुभयो भगवत गीताको ज्ञान.
They give the example just like the mother will teach the daughter-in-law by teaching her daughter.
र एउटा उदाहरण दिनुहुन्छ कि सासूमाहरूले बुहारीलाई सिकाउनको लागि पहिले आफ्नी छोरीलाई माध्यम बनाएर बुहारीहरूलाई काम सिकाए जस्तो.
Right? The mother-in-law, the mother, it's got the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law is just married and she's come there to the house and she's new in the house. She doesn't know the way the mother does everything. And the daughter-in-law is very sensitive, so the mother doesn't want to chastise her and tell her you did it wrong, but she tells her daughter. And by teaching her daughter, she hopes the daughter-in-law will understand.
जस्तो प्रकारले नयाँ नयाँ बुहारीहरू घरमा बिहा गरेर आउँछन्, त्यतिखेर घरकी सासूमाहरूले ती बुहारीहरूलाई सिधै गर त्यो आदेश यो गर त्यो गर भनेर हराउँदैनन्, किनकि त्यहाँनिर तलमाथि हुन सक्छ भनेर. तर आफ्नी छोरीलाई माध्यम बनाएर डाँटेर गाली गरेर बुहारीले पनि त्यो देखेर सिकोस् भनेर त्यसरी शिक्षा दिनुहुन्छ.
So the same way, Krishna teaching Arjuna. Arjuna is not in illusion, but he's playing the part, somebody in illusion, so that Krishna can speak the Bhagavad Gita for all of our benefit.
अर्जुन अज्ञानमा थिएनन्, तर एउटा पाठ मात्रै लिएका थिए कि उनी अज्ञानको अवस्थामा पुगेको पाठ मात्रै लिएर भगवानले त्यो ज्ञान हामीहरूलाई प्रस्तुत गराउनको लागि अर्जुनलाई त्यो पाठको खेल्ने अवस्थामा लिएर आउनुभयो.
Understand?
बुझ्नुभयो प्रभुजी?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. One more question, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
प्रभुजी तो अघि जो शंकराचार्यको बारेमा बताउनु भएको थियो महाराजले, जो अद्वैतवाद भन्ने, जो शून्यवादबाट अद्वैतवाद अनि जब बल्ल द्वैतवाद आउँछ, भगवानले शंकराचार्यलाई एकैचोटि द्वैतवादको आदेश किन दिनु भएन? किन मायावादीको लागि प्रचारको लागि लगाउनु भयो भन्ने नि?
Maharaji, my Prabhu questioned that there is a Advaitavad, Dvaitavad and Dvaitvad.
मायावाद छोडेर एकैचोटि द्वैतवाद किन लाउनु भएन?
So why there is instruction to Shankaracharya instead of Mayavad? Why not he give the instruction to Shankaracharya to teach Advaitavad?
Well,
Why is he not teaching Advaitavad?
the Lord arranged, it doesn't, because the transition, remember, he has to bring back the Vedas. So he has to defeat the Buddhist philosophy.
महाराजी उत्तर दिने भन्नुहुन्छ कि उहाँले वेदलाई फेरि लिएर आउनको लागि बुद्धिस्ट फिलोसफीलाई हराउनको लागि पहिले सुरु उहाँले
Because the Buddhists are preaching that nothing is real, everything is void, zero. They don't speak about God. They don't believe in the existence of a God. Buddha is not God. Buddha is Buddha, and man is man. They don't believe in God.
बुद्धि सिद्धान्त यस्तो कि बुद्धि सिद्धान्तले भगवानलाई पनि मान्दैन, हर चिजलाई पनि उले मान्दैन, सबै जिरो शून्य. र त्यो सिद्धान्तलाई हराउनको लागि शंकराचार्यले सबै एउटै हो भनेर प्रस्तुत गराउनु भयो.
So Shankaracharya has to defeat this Buddhist philosophy, so he does it by teaching this covered Buddhism.
र शंकराचार्यले यो बुद्धि सिद्धान्तलाई हराउनको लागि जो बुद्धि सिद्धान्तलाई ढाकिने सिद्धान्त अझै एउटा ल्याउनु भयो.
Right, and the Buddhists are saying everything is zero, and Shankaracharya says everything is one. Just a little change.
र त्यहाँनिर अलिकति मात्रै अन्तर गराउनु भयो कि बुद्धिस्टले सबै जिरो भन्थ्यो र शङ्कराचार्यले सबै एउटै हो।
But he was able to bring back the Vedas.
र शङ्कराचार्यले फेरि वेदलाई फेरि वापस लिएर आउन सक्नुभयो, तर
And-
उता बुद्धिस्टका वेद सबै हराइदिएको छ।
And he brought back the Vedic culture and the Varnashram system and good brahmanas.
र त्यतिखेर शङ्कराचार्यले फेरि वर्ण आश्रम सिद्धान्तलाई फेरि लिएर आउनुभयो र त्यतिखेर वर्ण आश्रम धर्म फेरि स्थापित भयो।
And good sannyasis, strict sannyasis, renounced people.
र त्यतिखेर बल्ल अनि सन्यासीहरू फेरि आउन थाले।
So Shankaracharya was very clever. He didn't want to make too big a jump because if it's too big a jump, if he was to teach what the Vaishnavas are teaching, it would be too big a change from what the Buddhists were teaching. It would be difficult for them to take.
र यदि वैष्णव सिद्धान्त एकैचोटि माथिको सिद्धान्त लिएर आउनको लागि मान्छेहरूले त्यत्रो परिवर्तनलाई स्वीकार गर्न सक्ने थिएनन्। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि शङ्कराचार्यले सिर्फ त्यसको एउटा श्रेणी माथि कि बुद्धिस्ट सिद्धान्तले जिरो भनेकोलाई उहाँले एक बनाएर त्यो वेदलाई फेरि फिर्ता लिएर आउनुभयो, सन्यासी वर्णाश्रम धर्मलाई फेरि स्थापित गर्नुभयो।
And so Shankaracharya was to first of all, bring back the Vedas. And then, after they bring back the Vedas, then the Acharyas came to bring the real philosophy of the Vedas.
सबसे पहिले शङ्कराचार्यले वेदलाई फिर्ता लिएर आउनुभयो र आस्ते आस्ते हाम्रा आचार्यहरू आएर अनि फेरि असली सिद्धान्तलाई फेरि स्थापित गर्नुभयो।
But the people were not ready yet for the Vaishnava philosophy. So Shankaracharya, his philosophy is also atheism, like Buddhism.
र वैष्णव सिद्धान्तलाई अपनाउनको लागि प्रत्येक प्राणी प्रत्येक मनुष्यहरू तयारी थिएनन्। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि शङ्कराचार्यले बौद्धको सिद्धान्त जस्तै नास्तिक सिद्धान्त ल्याएर प्रस्तुत गर्नुभयो, जस्तो प्रकारले बौद्धिक सिद्धान्त जस्तै छ मायावादी सिद्धान्त।
Because Shankaracharya, he's saying, we're all God, we're all Brahman, we're all one.
शङ्कराचार्यले बताउनुहुन्छ कि हामी सबै भगवान हौं, हामी सबै ब्रह्माण्ड हौं, हामी एउटै हौं।
So if everybody's God, there's no meaning to God anymore. Doesn't mean anything.
र सबै भगवान भन्ने बित्तिकै अरू भगवान भन्ने अरूलाई भगवान भन्ने कुनै मतलबै छैन। म पनि भगवान, त पनि भगवान, सबै भगवान।
So they had to. Shankaracharya did it that way because they had to do it gradually. They couldn't immediately bring back the presence of a divine spiritual form.
त्यसो हुँदाखेरि शङ्कराचार्यले बिस्तारै बिस्तारै सिद्धान्तलाई परिवर्तन गराउनको लागि भगवानको जो परम रूपलाई प्रस्तुत गराउनको लागि बिस्तारै परिवर्तन ल्याउनु भयो।
So little bit at a time, gradually bring in the Vedas, bring back the Vedic culture, and then the Vaishnava Acharyas, and then Lord Chaitanya.
बिस्तारै बिस्तारै परिस्वरूप वेदको ज्ञानलाई पहिले प्रस्तुत गर्नुभयो र आस्ते आस्ते आचार्यहरू आउनुभयो, वैष्णव सिद्धान्तलाई लिएर आउनुभयो, अनि पछि बल्ल चैतन्य महाप्रभु स्वयं शिक्षा दिन आउनुभयो।
The Acharya has to teach according to the ability of the people to understand.
र आचार्यहरूले शिक्षा दिनुपर्छ कि जनताहरूको योग्यतालाई हेरेर उनीहरूले कति स्वीकार गर्न सक्छन्, कति चाहिँ उनीहरूको पात्र कति चाहिँ पत्रो छ, त्यही अनुसारले शिक्षा दिनुपर्छ।
They couldn't understand anymore, so Shankaracharya told them as much as they could understand.
त्यसो हुँदाखेरि यो ज्ञानदेखिको माथि उनीहरूले अरू ज्ञान त्यो जान्न सक्नेवाला थिएनन्। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि बुद्धसँग मिल्दो जुल्दो ज्ञानलाई शङ्कराचार्यले प्रस्तुत गर्नुभएको।
Do you understand?
तपाईले बुझ्नुभयो?
Yes, Maharaj. And Maharaj, one more little doubt. प्रभुजी महाराज सोधिन् त अचिन्त्य वेदावेद जो महाप्रभुले प्रचार गर्नुभयो त्यसको व्याख्या कसरी बुझ्ने?
How do we understand the Achintya Veda Tattva? What Chaitanya
महाप्रभु teach us.
What?
अचिन्त्य वेदावेद
Tattva. How do we understand that?
How do we understand Achintya Veda Veda Tattva?
Yes, Maharaj.
Well, Lord Chaitanya is teaching that it is for Achintya inconceivable that everything is one and at the same time different from the Lord.
Achintya चिन्ता गर्न नसकिने पहिले हामी सोच्न नसक्ने भनिन्छ नि एकै साथमा सब एउटै हो तर एकै साथमा अलग पनि हो.
We say we are one in quality, different in quantity.
र हामीले भन्न सकिन्छ गुण मात्रामा एउटै हो तर विभूति मात्रामा अलग-अलग.
Right? Krishna is the supreme Brahman and we are tiny sparks of the Brahman.
र भगवान कृष्ण परम ब्रह्माण्ड हुनुहुन्छ र हामीहरू चाहिँ अणु ब्रह्माण्ड.
That is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva.
यो अचिन्त्य वेदावेद तत्त्व यसलाई भन्दछ. गुण मात्रमा अन्तर हो.
Everything is ultimately one with Krishna, but at the same time different from Krishna.
र एकै साथमा भगवानसँग एउटै पनि हो एउटै साथमा अलग पनि हो. बुझ्नुभयो प्रभुजी? अनम्युट गर्नु अनि फेरि.
यस थ्याङ्क यू महाराजजी. अनि के अरे ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्मा न सोचति न काङ्क्षति भन्ने श्लोकलाई महाराजले यो भक्तिको पहिला स्टेप भन्नुभयो नि, यो त हामीलाई बहुत उच्च स्टेप लाग्छ. यानि सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद भक्ति लभते प्रणम सबैलाई सम देख्नु तर हामीले आफ्ना बच्चा र अरूका बच्चालाई अन्तर देखिन्छ. यसको मतलब हामी कृष्ण भावनामा छैनौँ.
And Nimai Prabhu is mentioned that we have explained in Bhagavad Gita sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param.
ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्माको
Bhuta Prashanatma. Devotional service. One who engages in a devotional service. This means Brahma Bhuta is in a higher position. So we are doing devotion, but our child and another child we cannot treat like the same. This means we are not in a devotion. Is mentioned.
Well, the point is there's devotion in the modes of nature and there is pure devotion. So maybe our devotion is mixed with the modes of nature.
Bhakti भने अब हामी भौतिक संसारमा गुणमा मिश्रित छ र त्यसरी हामीले त्यो विभाजन गर्न थाल्यौं भने हामीहरुको भक्ति मिश्रित भइरहेछ. शुद्ध भक्ति भएको छैन.
We're going through the motions of devotional service, but how much have we actually transcended the modes of nature? We have to get free of the modes of nature.
र हामी गुणबाट हामी कति चाहिँ हामीहरु अलग भएका छौं, कति चाहिँ दूर भएका छौं. त्यही गुण अनुसारको हामी जति गुण त्यो भौतिक संसारको गुणबाट कति दूर भयौं त्यही अनुसारको हामीले कार्य गर्छौं.
Sometimes we do devotional service, we're in dirty, we're contaminated, or we're in an angry mood. Sometimes we're doing devotional service, we just want to get distinction, we want people to respect us, oh, we're very religious, we're very pious. And sometimes we're doing devotional service, we just want to get rid of our sinful reactions from past activities. But pure devotional service is done simply for the pleasure of Krishna.
हामीले गर्नुपर्दछ।
Without any desire for any material gain or without any kind of liberation.
मुक्ति रहित, संसारिक इच्छा रहित र संसारिक चीज वस्तुहरूको आशा नगरिकिन शुद्ध भावले भगवानको सेवा गर्नु।
Right?
शुद्ध भाव।
Anyabilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anuko yena krishna nushilanam bhaktir uttamam. Devotional service, pure devotional service is described in that way, that it must be without material desire and it must be continuous.
भक्ति रसायन सिन्धुमा बताइएको छ कि भौतिक इच्छा रहित निरन्तर हमेशा भगवानको भक्ति गर्नु।
So we have to be constantly engaged in Krishna's service.
हामीहरू कहिले पनि नरोकिकन, आज त थाके सुच्छु भन्न मिल्दैन, नरोकिकन हमेशा चलिराख्ने भगवानको सेवा गरिराख्नुपर्छ भक्ति।
Often we are on, off, we're on, off. Sometimes we're very active, other times we're, I'm not in the mood today, no, I'm not going to chant today, I'm not going to wake up today.
जस्तो बिजुलीको खलो जस्तै कहिले टक बन्छ कहिले खोलिन्छ त्यस्तो होइन। आज त म बहुत थाके सुच्छु, आज त म काम गरेर मुत गरेको छु, आज त जब गर्दिन, त्यो गर्दिन भन्न पाइँदैन। हमेशा एकदम एक्टिभ चल उत्साह भइराख्नुपर्छ।
So if we are influenced by the modes, then our devotional service is also influenced by the modes.
यदि हामी भौतिकको गुणले यदि हामीलाई ढाकिन्छ भने हाम्रो भक्तिलाई पनि भौतिक गुणले ढाक्दछ, प्रभावित हुँदछ।
So the first stage is prasanatma, brahmabhuta prasanatma, becoming detached from the body and becoming joyful as a soul.
पहिलो स्वरूपको परम ब्रह्मलाई भक्तिमा अग्रसर हुनको लागि हामी शरीरबाट अनासक्त हुनु पर्यो अनि त्यहाँबाट भक्तिको मार्गलाई अपनाउनु पर्यो।
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
महाराजजीलाई थ्याङ्क यू भन्नु न।
Any other question?
हरे कृष्ण गुरु महाराज, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी।
हजुर
प्रभुजी यो क्वेशन नि गएको हप्ताको अब लास्ट सन्डेको हो।
हजुर
मलाई मेसेजमा भेटे थियो, त्यो सोध्न हुन्छ कि उन्न बोला सुरु हो त सोध्दिनु।
Last Sunday somebody have question, can we ask in this time?
Yeah.
हुन्छ अरे
हजुर के होला मेसेज उदय यहाँ लेखेको छ हाउ इम्पोर्टेन्ट टु भक्ति शास्त्र, अरे भक्ति शास्त्र कति इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ अनि यसले हामीलाई कृष्णको प्रेम भक्तिमा केही सहायता गर्छ भन्ने नि।
Prabhu is somebody's question in his message is how important to learn Bhakti Shastri, and if Bhakti Shastri help us develop Krishna consciousness.
Well, Srila Prabhupada had suggested that the devotees could organize these kind of courses.
र प्रभुजीले हामीलाई प्रस्ताव दिनुहुन्छ कि भक्तहरू यस्तो जो कोर्स हुन्छ शिक्षा दिने।
It's important for the devotees to get some education in the scriptures.
भक्तहरू जति पनि भक्तहरू छन् सिद्धान्त शिक्षा प्राप्त गर्नको लागि यो
So they may come to classes, maybe once a week or something. They come to class and they sit there. They don't learn hardly anything. But the idea of the Bhakti Shastri is that they will learn the message. They'll get a proper guidance through the message of the scriptures.
भक्ति शास्त्री भनेको उनीहरूले एकदम सही ढंगले सधैँ निरन्तर भगवान सम्बन्धी ज्ञान प्राप्त गर्छन्।
We should know what is being taught, what is Krishna's message, what is being passed on in the different verses of the scriptures.
र भगवानको आदेश के हो हाम्रो प्रति भगवानलाई के हामीले भगवानले हामीलाई के गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ के गराउन चाहनुहुन्छ त्यो ज्ञान सबै हामीलाई त्यो भक्ति शास्त्रीमा सिकाइने गरिन्छ.
So the Bhakti Shastri very helpful for people. We study the Bhagavad Gita, we study Ishopanishad, nectar of instruction, and part of the nectar of devotion.
र भक्ति शास्त्रीमा हामीलाई पढाइन्छ भगवद गीता, ईशोपनिषद, उपदेशामृत, भक्ति रसामृत सिन्धुको कोही भाग.
And in this way you get a good basis of the Krishna conscious philosophy.
र तपाईले यो प्रकारले तपाईले शिक्षा ग्रहण गर्नुभएको छ भने कृष्ण भावना मृतको स्तम्भ.
And there are tests. The devotees have to take part in tests. They have to write answers to questions.
त्यहाँ हामीहरूको लागि एउटा के भन्छ एक्जाम हुन्छ. त्यो एक्जाममा हामीहरूलाई नाना प्रश्नहरू सोधिन्छ. त्यसको उत्तर लिखित रूपमा दिनुपर्छ.
And they have to memorize slokas.
त्यतिखेर हामीले श्लोकहरूलाई कण्ठस्थ गर्नुपर्छ.
So it's a very good training.
र त्यो चाहिँ हाम्रो लागि एकदम राम्रो ट्रेनिङ हो.
Because often nobody is monitoring, nobody's checking on them how much they're learning.
र हाम्रो हमेशा जस्तो हामीलाई कसैले पनि हाम्रो कति जान्दछौँ के जान्दछौँ भनेर कहिले पनि आएर कसैले पनि आएर सोधपुछ गर्दैन.
They may be coming to class every week and they don't remember anything.
हर हप्ता त उनीहरू कथा गरेको कक्षामा त आउँछन् तर उनीहरूले केही पनि याद हुँदैन. आउँदैले मात्रै सुनो गएपछि सक्यो.
So it's a good guide for people who want to get second initiation, who want to get the Brahman initiation, that they should have completed the Bhakti Shastri course.
र जसले चाहिँ दोस्रो दीक्षा ब्राह्मण दीक्षा लिने व्यक्तिहरू छन् तिनीहरूले भक्ति शास्त्री गरेको एकदम उत्तम.
You want to get the second initiation? First of all, study the Bhakti Shastri course, complete that. And that shows you've made a good attempt to study the Prabhupada's books.
र जब तपाईले भक्ति शास्त्री पढ्नुहुन्छ त्यतिखेर बल्ल तपाईलाई प्रभुपादजीका ग्रन्थहरू जति पनि छन् ती पढ्नलाई तपाईलाई एकदम उत्साह र तपाईको मन लाग्दछ.
Because one who is a Brahmana, they should know the philosophy. They may be asked to speak, they may be asked to give a class, they should know something.
र जो ब्राह्मण हुन्छ उले भगवान सम्बन्धी ज्ञान सबै जानेको हुन्छ र उनीहरुलाई कहिलेकाहीँ भेट कसै कहीँ जाँदाखेरि पनि उनीहरुलाई भगवानको बारेमा एउटा बोल्ने अवसर प्रदान गरिन्छ, कथा गर्ने अवसर प्रदान गरिन्छ. उनीहरुले त्यतिखेर बोल्नै पर्छ. त्यसो हुँदाखेरि शिक्षा लिनै पर्छ.
Right, so you want to get second initiation, you study Bhakti Shastri. You want to become a sannyasi, you have to study Bhakti Vaibhav.
र यदि तपाई भगवान प्रचार गर्नुहुन्छ भने भक्ति शास्त्री पढ्नुहुन्छ, ब्राह्मण इनिसिएसन लिनुपर्छ भने भक्ति शास्त्री गर्नुपर्छ. यदि तपाई सन्यास ग्रहण गर्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईले भक्ति वैभव पढ्न जरुरी छ.
Bhakti Vaibhava is studying Srimad Bhagavatam.
भक्ति वैभव चाहिँ हामीले श्रीमद् भागवतमको अध्ययन गरिन्छ.
So it's very good for the devotees to go through these different courses and get more education in Prabhupada's books.
र यो भक्तिको मार्गमा शिक्षित भएर प्रभुपादजीका पुस्तकहरूलाई प्रभुपादजीको पुस्तकद्वारा ज्ञान प्राप्त गर्दै अगाडि बढेको चाहिँ एकदम भक्तहरूको लागि उचित मार्ग हो भन्नुहुन्छ.
You understand?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So I was encouraging devotees in Nepal, it would be good also in Nepal to have Bhakti Shastri course for the devotees.
नेपालमा भक्तहरूलाई एकदम प्रेरणा दिएको छ कि भक्ति शास्त्री यो अध्ययन गर्नको लागि एकदम नेपालमा नेपालीले उनीहरूलाई अध्ययन गर्न प्रेरणा दिएको छ.
A number of devotees have already gone to Vrindavan and taken part in the Bhakti Shastri course.
र थुप्रै भक्तहरू त वृन्दावनमा गएर भक्ति शास्त्रीको अध्ययन गर्दैछन्।
They do it, you can do it in Hindi.
र तपाईहरुले हिन्दीमा पनि गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ।
But it takes some time. You have to study. You have to put some time into it.
र तपाईहरुको समयको धेरै पनि लाग्दैन, कहिलेकाहीँ मात्रै 4 महिना।
But that's good. That's a good use of your time, to use it to study Krishna consciousness.
एकदम राम्रो तरिकाले उपयोग गरेको त्यो समय हुन्छ कि अध्ययन गर्नको लागि।
You need to get this education. You need to learn the philosophy.
तपाईहरुले यो ज्ञान प्राप्त गर्नै पर्छ, सिद्धान्तहरुलाई तपाईहरुले जान्नै पर्छ, यो ज्ञानहरु तपाईहरुले अपनाउनै पर्छ। अरु कसैको कुनै प्रश्न?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण महाराज, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। किन प्रभुजी, मैले त गएको हप्तामा मैले सोधेको थिएँ नि, जस्तै कसैले भन्छन् राधा रानीको नाम कृष्ण भन्छन् अनि भगवानको नाम कृष्ण, अनि हामीले त जस्तै माला जप्दाखेरि हरे कृष्ण भन्ने आदत बसालेछौँ। यो गर्दा हामीलाई पाप छ कि छैन, हामीलाई अपराध लाग्छ कि लाग्दैन कृष्ण भन्ने जप्ने बानी त कृष्ण भन्ने जप्ने बानी बसिसकेको छ हामीसँग। हामीले कसरी यसलाई बदल्ने, कसरी आदत बनाउने?
Miss Mataji's question, Maharaji, she's questioned that we always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We are not chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This Krishna means name of Radharani. So it means we are chanting the Radharani name. Do we get any benefit in that? We are not chanting a Krishna name fully because of we are chanting a Krishna, not Krishna. So in that case, do we do any offenses or any aparadha in that?
Well, a lot will depend on the consciousness and the mood. Is the devotee actually thinking to chant the name of Radharani, or is he chanting? Is he chanting to Krishna?
यहाँनिर महाराजी उत्तर दिँदै भन्नुहुन्छ, माताजी सुनिराख्नुहोस् है कि तपाईको जो भावना छ, त्यो भावनाले तपाईले जुन भावनाले तपाईले भगवानलाई सोचेर जप गर्नु भएको छ कि राधारानीलाई सोचेर जप गर्नु भएको छ, त्यही भावना अनुसारको हुन्छ।
You know, in different parts of the world, people pronounce the holy name of the Lord in different ways.
र यो ब्रह्माण्डको विश्वको अलग-अलग भागमा भगवानको नामलाई अलग-अलग तरिकाले उनीहरुले उच्चारण गर्छन् कि आफ्नो लवाजले।
You know, I go to Russia sometimes. In Russia, there's some wonderful devotees there. And there they say Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. And if you know, in Thailand also, Brihad Banu will tell you how they chant the name of Krishna in Thailand. And so there's no problem, because their mood is to Krishna. Krishna is not concerned so much with their pronunciation, but Krishna is looking at their heart. He's thinking, what is their mood in chanting his name? Lord Chaitanya was in Sri Rangam. You know Sri Rangam in South India? There's a big temple, a very big Vaishnava temple of Lord Ranganath there. And Lord Chaitanya was spending Chaturmasya there one year, and he would go to the temple every day, and he saw there was a Brahmin reading the Bhagavad Gita.
रंगनाथजीको मन्दिर छ एकदम ठुलो त्यहाँनेरि चैतन्य महाप्रभुले चतुर्मासी 4 महिना पुरा त्यहाँनेरि भजन साधन गर्दै तपस्या गर्दै बिताउनुहुन्थ्यो कि मन्दिर सधैँ जानुहुन्थ्यो त्यतिखेर एक दिन ब्राह्मणले पुस्तक यो पढ्दै गरेको देख्नुहुन्छ
And so the Brahmana was reading Bhagavad Gita, but Lord Chaitanya could understand the Brahmana was not well educated because he could not pronounce the verses well.
मन्दिर जाँदाखेरि एक दिन त्यो ब्राह्मणले किताब पढिरहेका हुन्थे तर महाप्रभुलाई थाहा थियो कि ती ब्राह्मणले किताब राम्ररी पढ्न जान्दैनन् त्यति ज्ञानी पढ्न सक्ने योग्य छैनन् भन्ने थाहा थियो तर उनले किताब पढ्दै गरेको देख्नुहुन्छ.
And other brahmanas were ridiculing him and laughing at him.
र उहाँले पढ्दै गरेको अर्को ब्राह्मणले उहाँलाई खिस्ती गर्छन् खिल्ली उडाउँदै हाँस्दै गर्छन्.
But Lord Chaitanya saw that this Brahmana was shedding tears. So Lord Chaitanya spoke to him one day and asked him, what are you doing? So the Brahmana said, my Guru told me every day I should read the Bhagavad Gita. So I do it. So Lord Chaitanya said, very good. And then Lord Chaitanya said, yeah, but why do you shed tears when you're reading the Bhagavad Gita? And the Brahmana said, when I read the Bhagavad Gita, then I think about how Lord Krishna is so merciful that he became the chariot driver of Arjuna. So thinking of Lord Krishna becoming the chariot driver of Arjuna, it brings tears to my eyes when I think about how the Lord is so merciful to his devotee. So Lord Chaitanya said to the Brahmana, he said, you are the real reader of the Bhagavad Gita. You are the best reader of the Bhagavad Gita. Another time, Srila Prabhupada had one of his Western lady disciples come, and he told her to recite the Ishopanishad prayers in front of many Indian people. And so after the girl had finished reciting, some people in the audience said, oh, her pronunciation is not very good. But Prabhupada said, oh, her pronunciation may not be so good, but her renunciation is very good. renunciation is more important than pronunciation.
प्रभुपादजीले उत्तर दिने भन्नुहुन्छ कि शायद होला उसको यो उच्चारण शब्दहरू पूर्ण नभएको होला तर उसको जो त्याग गर्ने जति पनि उसले उसको त्याग छ एकदम राम्रो छ भन्दै भन्नुहुन्छ वैरागी एकदम राम्रो छ.
Anyway, you like to pronounce the holy name of the Lord perfectly. You can also instruct people how they should pronounce the holy name.
जस्तो भए पनि यदि तपाईलाई राम्रो उच्चारण गर्न मन लागेको छ भने तपाईले राम्रो उच्चारण गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ र अरूलाई पनि राम्रो उच्चारण गर्ने मार्गदर्शन गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ.
We'll make you the namacharya of the holy name. You can teach everyone how to chant properly.
र तपाईलाई हामीले सबैले मिलेर तपाईलाई नामको आचार्य बनाउँछौं र तपाईले सबैलाई शिक्षा दिनु कि भगवानको नाम कसरी जप्ने भनेर द्वार द्वारमा गएर खटखटाउँदै भगवानको नाम सबैतिर वितरण गर्ने.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions?
Hare Krishna. Tilakini Devidas here a question, sir.
Oh yes.
तो अनम्यूट गरेर बात गर्नु.
तो मोहिनी माताजी हो
हैन
तिला देयर इज मोहिनी.
तिलकिनी माताजी has some question. केही प्रश्न छ माताजी केही प्रश्न छ सोध्नुहोस् त्यहाँ बित्दै गयो छ. Okay, she don't have to.
Okay. So no more questions?
कोहीसँग अरु केही प्रश्न छ?
Okay.
महाराजले एकैछिन भन्नु त बरु सानो अनाउन्समेन्ट छ.
महाराजी just for a moment Prabhu has some announcement.
Yes.
हरे कृष्ण जति पनि महाराजका डिजाबलहरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ नि महाराजले खोजी गर्नुहुन्छ अघि पनि अब टोरेस कुमार भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो हैन तपाईहरु यहाँ आउनुहुन्छ यो पछि आखिरमा अनम्युट गरेर महाराज हरे कृष्ण धन्यवाद पनि भन्न सक्नुहुन्छ नि त जले पनि अरु पनि हैन अनम्युट गर्नुस् महाराजको दर्शन गर्नु महाराजलाई हरे कृष्ण धन्यवाद प्रणामहरु तपाईहरु गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. मेन चाहिँ अब जो महाराजका डिजाबलहरू छन् तपाईहरु यहाँ आइराख्नु भएको छ यसो महाराजसँग सकिने बेलामा क्वेशन छन् क्वेशन गर्नु हैन भने यसो महाराजलाई धन्यवाद गर्नु प्रणाम गर्नु त्यति अनि केही भन्न दिला छ नि विरोध गर्न पर्यो जी महाराजलाई यो भनिदिनुस् न भनेर हो त्यसरी भन्न लाउँदैन हुन्छ नि र तपाईले एक एक जना गर्दै महाराजलाई धन्यवाद प्रणाम गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ नि ल. हरे कृष्ण.
Okay, so we thank all the devotees for their participation. We thank you for listening and for putting questions. And we thank also Prahlad Banu Prabhu for his translation.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.